Hey guys, what is up? Let's see. Today I'm thinking a lot about like self-care, and as kind of an extension of that, being able to admit when you're wrong or when you've gone too far with something. And that doesn't necessarily mean like you've gone too far, in a situation prying against someone else. Maybe you've just been working too much. Maybe you've just like not been taking good care of yourself. Have you been waking up feeling rested? Are you getting in the foods that you need to be getting in? Are you really taking care of this vessel, and by extension of that, the pilot of that vessel, the way that you should be? Don't discount the normal things that people just say and what I just said, like sleep and diet play an important role. When it comes to sleep, the typical 6 to 8 hours, you should be getting that, as consistently as possible, closer to that 8 hour mark if you can. Diet, I eat a low fat, whole foods, plant based diet. You can splurge every now and then and have something a bit unhealthy, but for the most part, when you've desaturated your taste buds with all the salt and fat that's typically in, the standard Western diets, and many diets in general, then you, first of all, real food tastes better. Secondly, you crave it more. But then thirdly, you're getting in the foods that your body really thrives on, both chemically, but also spiritually. I mean, understand that plant foods, plants make their energy from the sun, from light. By consuming the plant foods, you're essentially consuming that light. It's one of the most efficient methods to consuming energy made specifically from the light that's coming from our star. I don't want to get too deep into diet here. It's just that I know that that's going to play a big role in helping people kind of feel better in their daily lives and just feel better and have more energy and just take better actions to take care of themselves. When you start disciplining one area of your life, you'll notice that the discipline translates over into countless other aspects of your life. And it'll, of course, be easier to do things that a lot of y'all have probably been wanting to do for a long time. Like going, working out, and exercising is a lot easier when you've got good, consistent, healthy food going into your body. But I want to deviate a little bit from talking about the physical aspects and focus more so now on the mental aspects of self-care and making sure that you're being kind to yourself. There's countless guided meditations on YouTube that you can look up that can really assist you in boosting up confidence for yourself and just being a generally nicer person. You don't want that critic inside your head to be going haywire. You want someone that's like a hype man. You want someone inside your head that's going to actually, really take care of who you are. It doesn't mean that the little voice that is constantly being mean is just gonna suddenly disappear. I still have that little voice, and I'm sure plenty of other people do. We just don't give that voice such a platform to speak on in our minds. How much energy you put into thoughts like that directly in turn, that will base how much of your worth you are valuing from that little voice. All right, you want that ego inside your head to really support who you're growing to be. All right, as I've said in another video before, that your ego, as it is now, cannot survive the transition into the 5D world. It simply isn't going to survive that transition. But that doesn't mean the ego itself is going to disappear. The ego, just like you, is going through major changes. And just like some of you might be having physical ascension symptoms from the changes that you're undergoing, your ego is getting changes as well. And just like your ascension symptoms might not necessarily be the most wonderful thing to be experiencing, the ego also, in and of itself, isn't experiencing anything that it would consider to be that particularly good of a feeling. But we need to recognize that The ego in and of itself doesn't have an intellect like we do. We're able to intellectualize that, we're going through this ascension process and it's taking a toll on us. The ego in and of itself can't do that. It just thinks that it's dying, and it's going to do whatever it can to make you go back to the old way of doing things, the comfort zone, because that's where the ego thrives and feels its most alive version of itself. Don't allow yourself to go back there. Don't allow yourself to get pushed back into your comfort zone, at least for not too extended of a period of time. Yes, the comfort zone is a great place to be able to rest and recuperate, but don't allow yourself to stay there and stagnate. That's exactly what the ego wants you to do. Make sure that you're taking precious self-care initiatives so that you have the willpower to continue on the path that you're taking. The journey that you're on, the straight and narrow as it's called, isn't very straight and narrow. It's got tons of winding paths and hills and valleys that you've got to go through, and it's going to really take a lot of effort to be able to navigate your way through it in a really, careful manner. And your ego is going to try and trip you up every single chance that it gets, just for the sake of a little bit of normalcy, of just getting you to hold back a little bit and just stay exactly where you are. The ego isn't evil. Its purpose is to anchor us to this world. It's my personal belief that it is the ego that creates the veil of forgetting, as it's called, that makes it to where we cannot remember our previous lives or our, more divine experiences that we've had in the past. We'll call it time as an illusion. But I believe it's the ego that creates that veil of forgetting. The ego is what anchors us here to this planet while we have this experience. And it's important to give it the respect it deserves. It's like the rules in a game that you're playing. You don't hate the rules just because someone called foul on you. You understand that the rules are there for a specific purpose, and you play in accordance with those rules. And you have to adjust the way you play the game to fit around those rules. But you can still win the game even with those rules in place. Right? Do not forget the power that you have within you. Right? Take the time to rest. Take the time to eat the good tasting food. Take the time to be with people who care about you and love you deeply. Take the time to do you. Do that hobby that you've been wanting to do. Do that thing, event, or any situation that you've wanted to be a part of for so long, whether it's a play with friends at school, or whether it's taking up a hobby, or whether it's, doing a new physical activity, or just any type of thing you've been wanting to do. You have what you need to do it right now. And if it's something physical that's preventing you, like saying financial goals, that's just simply another point to be set. Right? Another point in the future to be set for you to strive toward. It's another thing that helps something that gives you a chance to look forward to something on this winding path that you're taking, because you want to have as many of those points as you can. You're going to need countless spots to get a chance to rest and see how far that you've come. Right? You've made it your entire life, and many of you, if you think back on the amount of experiences that you've had, you've had a tremendous amount of them in your awakening journey and going through the spiritual path. I know my life was, standard before my awakening started. I wouldn't change anything, even if some of the ascension symptoms can really be getting to me. Like they be strong sometimes. But you have the power within you. Take a bit of rest, right? And make sure that you pace yourself. Make sure that you're good to yourself. Make sure that you remember you come first. You can't help anyone else unless you take care of you first, right? There's absolutely no other individual that should be more important than you. You are the one. You are the all. And each and every person out there that you think you're disadvantaging by taking care of yourself, Remember that they are you from another perspective. You're not hurting anyone by taking care of you. You're helping everyone. Please, please, please make sure that you are doing what you need and want to do. Make sure that those needs and wants come from the deepest part of your core, so that you make sure, just like in a previous video I'd talked about, make sure that you aren't abusing those desires. Make sure that you know exactly what you need and want to do, because that discernment, though it might take a bit of time to build it up, will help you create a perfect pace for yourself while you're moving throughout this, these wild and turbulent times that will only probably tend to get more wild and turbulent as time goes. All right, you are it. The one that's gonna, sleep through everything and simultaneously save the world. All right, you can be lazy, you can be busy, so long as you remember that there's that point right in the middle where bliss remains. All right, never spend too much time on one end of the spectrum. Always remember right there in the middle way, the moderation, the point of significance is right there in the center. Thank you so much for watching. This was definitely one that I think I need to remember more often, because I don't really do that good with taking care of myself. I'm a busybody and I tend to just stay busy. So next time I get the chance, I'm gonna take some time off and I'm gonna go and relax. Really, any chance that I get, I do take it. It just seems like, just like for a lot of y'all, it's becoming less and less frequent as time goes on, because the more we go into this process, the more shadow work we realize we have to do. And that's okay. Everything comes at the right time, and you have everything you need at the right time. Just pace yourself. Thank you again for listening to this message. I hope you found it insightful. As always, I rambled on for quite a bit and went on a couple of different segues. I'm gonna start scripting out a little bit more than just the bullet points that I have. I think it'll help me out a bit. But please, like, comment, subscribe. Take care of yourselves. Be happy, be healthy, be well. Namaste, and all that goodness that comes with it.